howdy, and welcome back to my channel, guys. This week I filmed some projects that I had going on in the kitchen for you guys. So starting off, we have refrigerator pickles. They are so stupid easy to make, and honestly, I tend to do these more than I actually tend to can pickles. If I'm being honest, we're not huge pickle eaters in this family. If it was dilly beans, that'd be a totally different story. If you don't know, you can pickle green beans, and they are the best thing ever. It is a huge hit in all of my family, even extended sides of the family. So for the refrigerator pickles, I am just taking cucumbers from our garden. It seems to be the only crop that is actually doing well this year. I planted a double yield variety of pickles. It's an heirloom variety, and I really do like it because it gives you what they call the double yield, where there's 2 flowers at almost every stem. I am hopeful to save some of the seeds this year and hopefully continue this for next year without actually having to go and buy seeds again. Like the green beans, you can pickle a ton of different things. It doesn't just have to be pickles. So if you want your favorite vegetable to be pickled, you can follow this recipe and use whatever you want and just keep it in the fridge for up to 2 weeks. So I just cut them and then I stuffed them into these little mason jars and I made a brine. The brine is 2 cups of vinegar and 2 cups of water, 2 tablespoons of salt, 2 to 4 teaspoons of sugar. I put about 1 to 2 cloves of garlic in each jar and then a ton of fresh dill, as much as I think I can possibly stuff in there. There is just something about fresh dill in the summer. It reminds me of all my childhood and all the dilly beans my grandma used to make. You're just going to then pour that brine over top of your cucumbers. You want them primarily covered. You want most of them covered, if not all of them covered. If for some reason a cucumber is not fitting in the jar, you can always cut it down smaller. I love this because there is no processing involved. It is so quick, so easy, especially as a busy mom. You do want to wait 24 hours before you go ahead and try to eat these. That just gives the brine time to get into the cucumber and actually taste like a pickle instead of just a regular schmegular cucumber. And like I said, they can stay in the fridge for up to 2 weeks. So it's a pretty decent shelf life in the fridge. Next up is probably one of my favorite things to eat, but I'm like the only person in our house who will actually eat them, is hot pepper jelly. I chopped up about 2 bell peppers. It doesn't matter what color they are. If you want it more colorful, make it more colorful, use different colors. And then I'm also just using whatever hot peppers we had in our garden. I believe these were jalapenos, or honestly, maybe they were serranos. I'm not 100% sure. You're going to take 1 cup of apple cider vinegar and 1 whole cup of water, and then all of the peppers that you chopped up. Once they are all together, give them a big mix, and you want to bring this to a rolling boil. While I got this going, I ran downstairs to our basement. We have a whole stash of jars. I was looking for jelly jars, but some of these were pretty gross. We were given these for free from somebody at church, like all these jars for free, which was a huge blessing because we really needed them, and now I have a whole stash. I couldn't find jelly jars and I couldn't find pint jars, so we are sacrificing these cider jars. I was not a fan of this cider recipe. I found it online from some influencer and it was not the best. I don't think they actually tested the recipe. Granted, it could have been the apples I used. I'm not really sure. Anyways, back to our mixture. Once you get this to a full rolling boil, you're going to add it in a box of pectin. Now, I buy pectin in bulk. If you are a canner, I highly recommend you buy pectin in bulk. 1 box of pectin is the equivalent of 6 tablespoons of pectin. Now, there are ways to do things like this without having to use pectin, but I've just always used pectin. I don't really understand the issue people have with pectin. I mean, I know in fruit there's natural levels of pectin, but after you get the pectin in it, you're going to bring that to a full boil for a minute. Once that reaches a full boil for a minute, you're going to add in 6 cups of sugar. I know it seems like a lot of sugar, but jams and jellies typically need a lot of sugar. And if you think about it, you're not eating all that sugar all at once. It's in really small quantities. Once the sugar is added, you are going to get this to a rolling boil once again for, well, you guessed it, a whole minute. Now, fair warning, this will make your house smell. And my husband hates the smell of vinegar. I mean, it's a pretty pungent smell, so I don't really know who loves the smell of vinegar, but I love our air doctor. Put this bad boy in the kitchen and it covered the issue of the smell in the house. When this starts to boil, you have to stir frequently and very fast because you run the risk of overboiling your pot. And let me tell you, it is not fun to clean up. Jams and jellies are one of those things too where you kind of have to work a little quick in getting it into the jars before it sets. I'm editing this back now and there is jelly jars. I must have had jelly jars on hand. Anyways, you are going to measure this to 1/4 of a headspace, although I did not listen to my own recipe because that looks like 1 inch to 1/2 inch of headspace. There seems to be a big discrepancy between in the process filming grace and editing grace. Anyways, wipe your rims off with some vinegar, make sure there is no residue left on them, and then put your lids and your rings on fingertip tight. If you're new to canning, I know fingertip tight can kind of be a little bit confusing because you're like, what does that even mean? And you're just twisting it on with your fingers and you're not screwing it on super tight, but you also don't want them to be loose either. Then you're going to water bath these for 10 minutes at a full rolling boil. And a reminder that you do not start the timer until it is at a full rolling boil. So, I have my husband watching my pot, so it's at a rolling boil. It's gonna boil for 10 minutes and then he's gonna cut the heat for me. But in the meantime, we're gonna go pick pears from our pear tree because I just think it's time to harvest them. So I have been eagerly waiting for our pears to come in, and I'm not actually sure the variety we have because I didn't plant this tree. It was the previous owners. There's an apple tree behind it, but that never produces very well for us for some reason. It could potentially have to do with our fruit tree caretaking because I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to fruit trees. As you can see, this thing is terribly overgrown and really needs pruned back. Our tree also only produces every 2 years. It does not produce every year. Pears also do not ripen on a tree. They ripen when you pick them, and then they ripen from the inside out, which is kind of bizarre compared to apples. You can tell when pears are ready to be picked if you can pull them horizontally upwards and they snap right off without any resistance. We got about 16 pounds worth of pears, which is so crazy, and I didn't fall off the ladder, so it was a win-win. Overall, this mini project day turned out wonderful. Got some good things for our larder, and I will catch you guys on the next video.
Feeling so lucky, can you be my lover? Summertime, you tell me what